What is good with y'all, my anime familia? Back on the channel again with another Anime Tuesdays. This is the top 10 strongest filler characters in Naruto. Y'all know I love Naruto. Look at the shirt, bro. This thing kind of cold, and then Naruto in the back, Itachi Ai in the back, Neji back there. Look at him. He actually do kind of look like, he actually does have both legs, but it kind of look like he like linked up against the wall, like that one leg up kind of pose, bro. He look like he really back there just chilling, but nah, for real. So I got the crew in the back, got the shirt on, and today we're looking at the filler characters. I don't feel like the filler characters get enough love, but some of them filler characters were OP. Now, of course, it's a filler, so it's not, manga canon, so of course they can just kind of do outworldly things, but some of them were fire. So I can't wait to see which 10 make this list, and if we agree with it, so let me know down below. Of course, you guys want to check out his original videos, NC Hammer 30. But link to the original video down below in the description. Leave a like if you guys are enjoying the anime content. Want more of it to come up. You guys have shown plenty of love to these videos, reacting to this, but also to my review series, man. I am reviewing animes that I've recently watched. Last week we did 3 of them. The Promised Neverland, Black Clover, and My Hero Academia. Even though My Hero Academia isn't finished, the new season is coming up, but that sets me up to, now that I've covered the whole show and what I think about it, to just focus on that last season when it drops, and maybe post like my reactions to every episode or my reactions to the end of the season. Let me know what you guys want to see for those animes that are coming out, like actively now. Like, do you guys want me to react to at the end of every new episode and give my thoughts on it, or would you guys rather me wait to the end of the season? Let me know and we'll do that. So without further ado though, I'll get off my soapbox here, man. Thank you guys so much for the love and support you guys are getting us to this point of the channel, man. Keep subscribing if you guys want to see more anime content, and liking the videos if you enjoy me, the video, and reactions to the videos as we go towards this road to 10K. Love every single one of you guys. Let's get into this heat. I'm doing these for you guys in the middle of the day too, but I'm in this bit sweating. I got me a soda and a water, but I'm in this bit hot. Y'all can see my forehead starting to glisten a little bit. I've already recorded 4 videos today. Trying to get back on track for you guys now. I'm back from my trip.
A lot of things. Incredible fight scenes, compelling and...
Hold on. I think we kind of skipped a couple words there. Let's go back.
Naruto is infamous for a lot of things. Incredible fight scenes,
being compelling the best anime and out there. No anime is better than it. Best fights.
Well, filler
best
episodes.
Anime.
And a lot of the filler introduced into Naruto is
other
just
shows were better,
bad.
Worse filler.
A fair amount of it is actually pretty good.
Oh,
with
she was
some of
tough.
the best arcs in Naruto actually being filler arcs. But not only were filler arcs sometimes good narratively, but also oftentimes filler arcs is where we saw the majority of the creative energy pumped into Naruto. Whether it was new Kekkei Genkai or power systems being introduced, or entire new villages being introduced, the filler's necessity to stay out of manga-related content meant that oftentimes filler content was some of the most creative content we got. And while sometimes that creativity was not for the best, sometimes that creativity gave us some incredible arcs with crazy powerful characters. And today, I want to talk about those characters. Because I'm sure that a lot of you who are watching this video right now skipped every single filler episode in Naruto. And because of that, you don't know about some of the most iconic characters in Naruto history. And thus today, I want to talk about them.
I'll say it's probably my biggest downside when it comes to like watching anime. I don't skip an episode at all. Even if I know it's filler, I still want to see, because I feel like it adds some level of knowledge to the show. It might not be actual like canon events and be truthful, but I feel like it adds knowledge. Like, for example, like I wouldn't know any of these characters. I wouldn't know any of these jutsus were possible. Any of these people were possible. It gives you kind of a look to character development too, kind of like how they're reacting or growing up, or maybe how something in between two big things might have happened or transpired. To me personally, I just feel like fillers are still good episodes to watch, and a lot of times they're funny, like the Kakashi filler episode where they try to see what his mouth looked like the whole time. I don't think I've seen a funnier Naruto episode out. Actually, I think that's my funniest Naruto episode, 100%.
Those iconic characters, because today we're talking the top 10 strongest filler characters in Naruto, ranked and explained. But before we get to ranking or explaining anything, guys, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. There are 296 filler episodes across Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. That means more than a third of total Naruto content is filler. But because of that, a lot of the information that can be gleaned about the Naruto universe comes from these 296 episodes, where we got a ton of character building moments for characters who aren't in the manga all that much, like Team Guy. And it was through Team Guy that we were introduced to our first entry on this list, coming in at number 10, Gensho. See, Gensho was introduced in episode 195 of part 1 of Naruto. And for those of you who don't remember, basically every episode of Naruto between about 140 and 220 is filler. It was something like 80 straight weeks of filler content from Naruto. See, Gensho was a taijutsu master, introduced during the third Super Beast arc. And Gensho was one of 3 brothers who sought revenge against Might Guy for the death of their father. And thus Gensho went to Konoha under disguise as a taijutsu master and summarily defeated Rock Lee in taijutsu, or hand-to-hand combat. Now, mind you, this was an iteration of Rock Lee who was still recovering from his life-saving surgery at the hands of Tsunade. And thus this arc literally starts with Tsunade telling Rock Lee not to train that hard or to get into any serious combat. However, because Rock Lee is out of commission, Gensho was actually able to slide into Konoha under the disguise of being a taijutsu specialist ninja and is placed on a mission with Might Guy. However, this is actually exactly what Gensho wanted, as he was simply trying to lure Might Guy out of the village. And once he lured Might Guy out of the village, Gensho used one of the most unique and one of the coolest jutsus we've ever seen in Naruto, not just in filler content, but in all of Naruto. See, not only is Gensho considered a genius in taijutsu, not only by Might Guy, but also by Rock Lee, being able to, while in the moment of a high-octane taijutsu battle, to register the attacks that somebody's about to throw at him and figure out the perfect counter to said attack, like when he was able to break Rock Lee's Leaf Hurricane by raising his knee upwards and slamming his elbow down to catch Lee's Leaf Hurricane, breaking it instantly without ever seeing the technique used before. However, outside of being a taijutsu specialist on par with lower gates versions of Rock Lee and Might Guy, Gensho is also one of the most proficient puppet users that we've ever seen. Gensho is able to manipulate a proverbial army of wooden puppets simply by placing a specific kind of charm on them. And these puppets attack anything that gets too close to them. And while they don't possess the taijutsu ability of Gensho, they are able to overwhelm even incredible taijutsu users with their sheer numbers. On top of this, Gensho is able to assume control over any of his puppets, and thus making one of them in this army an incredibly proficient taijutsu user. On top of this, these wooden puppets are able to split apart and fuse together to make things like a simple house all the way up to an incredibly elegant and large Japanese castle. And thus, Gensho uses the ability to fuse these wooden puppets into a myriad of different structures to isolate individual opponents so they can be fought separately. And these structures that are created are so incredibly powerful when finished, as Gensho is able to imbue certain areas with chakra that even Might Guy was unable to destroy the walls. And thus, when Gensho was able to lure Might Guy out of the village, he trapped him in a wooden house created from his dolls and tired out Might Guy as he threw wave after wave of wooden puppets at him. And Might Guy would have been doomed if Team Guy and Naruto didn't show up, as Rock Lee dashed into the Japanese castle that Gensho had created, but Gensho was able to manipulate Might Guy's mind into believing that as Rock Lee stormed into this castle that he was actually another wooden puppet. And thus Might Guy fought against Rock Lee with his life on the line, trying to kill him. And it wasn't until Might Guy realized that the wooden puppet he was fighting against was fighting exactly like Lee that he realized what he was doing, and thus Gensho's plan failed. However, it's worth noting here, without Team Guy and Naruto showing up, Might Guy would have been in an incredibly sticky situation. And thus, because of the diversity in his attacks and the ability to corner Might Guy, one of the strongest jonin in Konoha, Gensho absolutely deserves a spot on this list. But I still gotta put him one spot below our number 9 spot,
evil man.
Akahoshi. See, Akahoshi was the self-proclaimed 4th Hoshikage. That is to say, the Kage of Hoshigakure, or the village hidden in the stars. Now, Akahoshi was able to become the 4th Hoshikage by killing the 3rd Hoshikage. After the 3rd Hoshikage tried to stop the entirety of the village hidden in the stars from training with the special meteorite power that they were known for using. See, Hoshigakure was known as Hoshigakure because a meteor had fallen into the center of the city. And this meteor gave off a weird, distinct purple power that the ninjas of Hoshigakure were able to use to extraordinary effect, becoming known for something known as the mysterious peacock method, a technique that manifested as a feathery plume behind the Hoshigakure ninja who was using it. And this chakra was able to be manipulated into a myriad of different shapes, be that of an animal like a dog that's able to pounce on opponents, or wings that allow for the Hoshigakure ninja to fly with ease. It could also manifest as a chakra rope of sorts to grab people, or something as simple as a blade to slash people. It was a highly versatile technique, however, its key drawback was that it irradiated all that used it. And Akahoshi was incredibly well practiced in the mysterious peacock method, not only being able to do all the things that I just previously listed, but also being able to absorb the chakra of his comrades to increase his own strength. However, as this arc went on, and it was slowly but surely revealed that Akahoshi was not the good guy we all believed him to be, in order to ensure that Konoha would never get their grubby little mitts on the meteorite, Akahoshi fused the meteorite into his own chest, causing the meteorite to take control of him, but also giving him insane power. Not only changing Akahoshi's appearance, but also giving him the ability to create a gigantic dragon out of meteorite chakra. A giant dragon that was not only able to repel almost all of the ninja of Hoshigakure, but also Naruto as they tried to wrestle this meteorite from his chest. But speaking of people who are able to steal chakra from others, up next on our list at our number 8 8th spot, we have
one of Naruto's first kisses. Bro, when I saw that, I was like, ain't no way that's how you steal power though, for real. But hey, I'm here for it.
Fuka. Fuka made her debut in episode 56 of Naruto Shippuden, in the mixed filler and canon arc of the 12 Guardian Ninjas arc. See, Fuka belongs to a group of grave robbers who have been exhuming the bodies of the dead and gone members of the 12 Guardian Ninja. And Fuka was an incredibly powerful kunoichi, so powerful that Kazuma, a former member of the 12 Guardian Ninja, and the leader of the half of the 12 Guardian Ninja who led the coup against Konoha, identified her strength and potential to help in the ongoing battle against Konoha. But what made Fuka so powerful? Well, she had 5 bodies. See, Fuka has one of the deepest bags of techniques we've actually ever seen. She, like Jiraiya, had complete and total control over her hair, which allowed for her to use her hair to grab and constrict enemies to a deadly level of effectiveness. Now, she was able to control her hair because Fuka had an insane amount of chakra. In fact, she had so much chakra that she had to move her consciousness from her actual body into her hair because there simply wasn't space in her body for all that chakra. But on top of moving her consciousness into that of her hair, Fuka also had 5 identical bodies, all with different movesets that she could pop into by summoning them with a scroll, giving Fuka a moveset eerily similar to that of Kakuzu. As if one of her bodies was destroyed, yes, she would lose access to the chakra and the technique stored in that body, but she would simply be able to swap into another body, healing instantaneously. And like Kakuzu, should she lose one of her bodies, she's able to swap her consciousness into that of somebody else's body, something she tried to do with Naruto, though Naruto was able to shake it off. But it was more than just her 5 lives that made Fuka so ridiculously powerful. She also had the ability to paralyze people with simple eye contact, like she had the Sharingan. She could camouflage herself to make herself invisible to sneak up on foes, but she was most known for her execution by kiss technique, an ability that allowed her, after kissing somebody, to suck out their chakra and eventually their soul. And if she was able to consume all of the chakra and the soul of somebody that she kissed, she would gain access to all of their techniques, which is why her bag was so ridiculously deep. And thus, like Kakuzu, she had access to all 5 elemental releases. And thus, in a way, she just was non-canon Kakuzu. And for that, she gets our number 8 entry on this list. And yeah, if you're thinking to yourself right now, oh my god, non-canon Kakuzu got number 8, who's next? Well, 1, that should put into perspective how powerful some of these non-canon characters are. And 2, at number 7, we have
Shira though? Mr. 7 Heavenly Breasts? I think he should at least be top 5, but let's see at least the 2 people he has in front of him because, hey.
See, Shira appeared in episode 395 of Naruto Shippuden, so pretty late into the story. Shira debuted in the 2nd Chunin exams arc that we got in Naruto, a genin sent by the Hidden Sand to participate in this new 2nd round of Chunin exams to show that the Hidden Sand and Konoha were cool again. Now, Shira was essentially Rock Lee if he was drawn like an anime protagonist. He, like Rock Lee, had made himself into a formidable ninja only by training in taijutsu. But instead of using the 8 gates, he had used the combination of 2 different things. Those 2 different things being the Silent Fist and the 7 Heavenly Breaths. The Silent Fist operated very similar to that of the Hyuga's Gentle Fist techniques. Technique that gained its name because Shiro was able to muffle the sound of his attacks using chakra, allowing for them to be thrown and land soundlessly, making it almost impossible for any opponents to anticipate what's coming next. And the 7 Heavenly Breaths operate almost identical to that of the 8 gates. Individual levels in Shira that can be unlocked between 1 and 7 that grant him access to higher and higher levels of power. Now, with the combination of these 2 techniques, because Shira wasn't practiced in either ninjutsu or genjutsu, Shira was not only able to fight on par with Gaara, as a Kaze Kage, mind you, being able to dodge his sand attacks and get within striking range of Gaara, as the speed that he possessed was equal to that of Rock Lee without his weights on, but he was also able to spar against Neji and Rock Lee simultaneously, being equal to or possibly stronger than Rock Lee with up to 5 gates open. And Shira's power in taijutsu was so incredibly grand that after the Chunin exam arc, he actually went back to the Hidden Sand to train Gaara in taijutsu, which is why Gaara's taijutsu is actually actively compared to that of Naruto's in the Boruto era. So for being a combination of Rock Lee and Neji, Shira's gonna get our number 7 spot. But unfortunately, when it comes down to it in the Naruto universe, taijutsu is just weaker than genjutsu, which is why—
I'm not gonna lie though, is it just me or is it like weird to think of Gaara actually being good at taijutsu? Maybe it's because he uses sand for so long, but even hearing it today, I'm like, Gaara and taijutsu they just don't sound right together. It's like hot wings and blue cheese. I know some of y'all love it, but it don't sound right together.
Why at number 6, we have Yakumo Kurama. So
the one
Yakumo Kurama was debuted in Naruto
in the
episode
back?
203, an arc that revolved around the Kurama clan in Konoha and Kurenai. Now, throughout the duration of this arc, we are introduced to the Kurama clan.
Hold on, you mean to tell me the genjutsu that she just draws something and it happens? That, I mean, obviously, yeah, I would say that's stronger than 7 heavenly breasts, but this list must be, I must be forgetting about some really powerful things. There's 5 other people stronger than both of those two.
Powerful yet unknown clan inside of Konoha, known for their genjutsu prowess. And while every individual born into the Kurama clan is better at genjutsu than your standard civilian, every couple of generations, one amongst the Kurama clan is born with proficiency that dwarfs even their other members. And that's because every couple of generations, one member of the Kurama clan is possessed by an entity known as Id. Now, Id is a demonic presence that shares mind space with his Kurama clansmen, not only giving them access to supernatural genjutsu ability, but also trying to take control of their body. And while Ito, this demonic presence in Yakumo's mind, was the reason she was able to use the clan's Kekkei Genkai, which is simply the ability to make genjutsu real, she is in a constant battle with Ito as it tries to cede control of her body. But still, regardless of her weak physical body and her ongoing mental battle with Ito, Yakumo was able to make genjutsu a reality, meaning if you die in the genjutsu she casts, you die. She's shown the ability to cast genjutsu through the medium of her paintings to such a level that if she painted the Hokage's office being struck by lightning, it simply would be. This is insane. It is reality manipulation at the highest level, meaning effectively there's really nothing Yakumo couldn't do, and she is only limited by the fact that she has very little stamina and very little ability to control this ridiculous Kekkei Genkai. But if Yakumo wanted to paint a picture of Konoha being completely and totally destroyed, she could do that, and Konoha would be gone. And thus, she not only deserves to be on this list, she deserves to be pretty high on this list. But speaking of people who can't really control their powers, coming up at number 5, we have Sora. Sora was introduced in Naruto Shippuden's 54th episode, another filler episode from the 12 Guardian Ninjas arc. See, Sora is a monk in training who lives at a temple in the land of fire. And like Kinkaku, and Ginkaku is a pseudo-Jinchuriki of Kurama. See, during Kurama's attack on Konoha on the night of Naruto's birth, Kurama's chakra was spread everywhere, and thus Sora's father collected all of this spread about chakra. Sora's father, Kazuma, the leader of the bad side of the 12 Guardian Ninjas, then even without Sora's knowledge, sealed this chakra from Kurama into Sora. And thus Sora was not only being trained as a warrior monk in the fire temple, like Chiriku of the 12 Guardian Ninjas, but he was also a pseudo-Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, which meant he was insanely powerful, which is how Sora was able to hold his own against not only the majority of the Konoha 11, but also Yamato, a wood release user who should have an advantage against him. Now, Sora, like Asuma, another member of the 12 Guardian Ninjas, used chakra-based weapons, specifically a 3-pronged claw, like Wolverine, that he would cover in chakra, not only in order to increase its strength, but also to allow him to throw long-range slashes that he was able to amplify with his wind release. And as Sora trained with Asuma, a well-known, incredibly proficient wind release user, Sora's wind release at the time that he was introduced was on par with that of Asuma or Naruto. In fact, just one of his wind-based slashes was able to cut through hundreds of Naruto shadow clones. However, obviously, all of this paled in comparison to Sora's ability to undergo version 2 Jinchuriki cloaks. See, because while Sora himself wasn't technically a real Jinchuriki, Kazuma stated that he had roughly around the same amount of power as a real one, which is proven by the fact that not only is Sora able to undergo a version 2 Jinchuriki cloak transformation, but also on account of the fact that he was able to manifest 4 tails, a level of strength that Naruto used to almost kill Jiraiya and Orochimaru. And in this 4-tailed cloak version, not only did Sora have the standard strength and speed of a Jinchuriki, on top of the insane regeneration factor and insane chakra pool, but he also, like so many other Jinchuriki in this form, was able to create tailed beast balls, which, as we know, have the strength to destroy entire shinobi villages.
And therefore, on account of the fact that Sora was an incredibly practiced warrior monk trained by Asuma,
who had access up to a 4-tailed version 2 Jinchuriki cloak transformation, and therefore tailed beast balls, making him easily as strong as beginning Shippuden Naruto, yeah, Sora gets our 5 spot. But on account of the fact that we never got to see Sora destroy an entire village, I can't put him higher than our number 4 spot, Enno Goija, who
I don't know, I just wasn't feeling that one.
I
still feel like the other two.
Enno Goija was kind of debuted in episode 144 of Naruto Shippuden. Now, I say kind of debuted because by the time that episode 144 of Shippuden rolls around, Enno Goija was long gone, and only his students remained to carry out his legacy. His students, like Hotaru. And therefore, while Hotaru did have access to all the techniques of Enno Goisha, I'm gonna use Enno Goisha on this list, even though they could be considered at the same power level, on account of the fact that he's the one who made them. See, Enno Goisha is one of the most interesting characters in Naruto lore, because he's one of the only few individuals in the history of Konoha that Konoha identified as a legitimate threat. See, it was during the Third Great Shinobi World War that Hiruzen actually reached out to Enno Goisha, asking him to make a treaty with Konoha. See, Konoha wanted Enno Goisha to identify a technique that he made called Fury as a kinjutsu, aka a jutsu not to be used, because Konoha, quite frankly, was intimidated by the raw power of this jutsu. And in exchange for Enno Goisha no longer using this technique, Konoha would support the Tsuchikomo village where Enno Goisha came from. But why was this technique so intimidating that even Konoha had to beg somebody who didn't live there to not use it? Well, Fury was a ridiculously powerful jutsu that allowed for somebody to suck in as much nature energy as they possibly could before expelling it all out in an explosion of insane force. An explosion so powerful that it could level an entire village in one fell swoop. It was a jutsu on par with the almighty push used by Nagato to flatten Konoha. However, its only drawback was, after using it, you got a bit tired. That's it. Since only nature energy was used in this explosion, while it did take a fair amount of time to absorb all of the energy, as your own life force wasn't being used to level entire villages, this jutsu was insanely dangerous in anyone's hands. And thus Hiruzen had to beg Enno Goisha to no longer use it and to teach it to nobody else. And when you have the most powerful village in the entire world coming to you to ask you to stop using the jutsu you created, well, yeah, that's...
Please stop. Leave us alone. We'll do anything you want. Like, dang, the most strongest village in the world, though.
That's Aura, and thus Enno Goisha gets our number 4 spot on this list. Yeah, but sometimes raw destructive ability isn't the most important thing to take into consideration, which is why at number 3 on our list, we have Gurren. See, Gurren was introduced in episode 89 of Naruto Shippuden. And with her introduction, we got one of the coolest Kekkei Genkais ever created in the Naruto universe. Crystal Release. See, Gurren was one of Orochimaru's subordinates, and was actually so powerful that she was on the short list of people that Orochimaru wanted to use as a potentially perfect vessel, only below Kimimaro and Sasuke. And the only reason that Gurren wasn't actually chosen as a vessel for Orochimaru is because Orochimaru ran out of time after their battle against Hiruzen and had to use Genyumaru. Gurren is undoubtedly one of the strongest Kunoichi we've ever seen in the Naruto universe, with a power so great that she was able to, by herself, battle Isobu to a relative standstill, meaning she had power on par with a tailed beast. But how does she achieve this level of power? Well, one, she's insanely practiced in taijutsu, being able to duke it out with Kakashi and Naruto simultaneously, as well as battling against Lee and Tenten simultaneously. Ties into the fact that she has a unique ability to transform small pieces of her life energy into chakra reserves, allowing for her to have a much deeper bag of chakra than almost anybody in the Naruto universe, though at the cost of her life. And when it came to just throwing hands with people, she was pretty elite. However, her true strength came from her unique Kekkei Genkai, Crystal Release. A technique that allowed for her to crystallize anything from the air to opponents. A technique that allowed for her to make an infinite arsenal of weapons, or simply to crystallize her opponents, encasing them in a crystal that they couldn't break out of. And these crystals were so dense that even high-level wood release couldn't crack them. On top of this, his technique was so rare that even the Sharingan was unable to copy it. And thus Gurren could do everything from creating incredibly dense defensive walls, sharp protrusions out of the ground, or snowflakes-shaped shuriken to throw at opponents, all without fear of any of her techniques being copied. However, by far and away, Gurren's deadliest ability was the ability to crystallize opponents to a molecular level. And then after crystallizing her opponents, having the ability to shatter said crystal, turning her opponents into a fine dust. The sheer diversity of her attacks and the instant kill ability of Crystal Release at a high level means that Gurren is by far and away one of the strongest filler characters we've ever been introduced to. But
I'm trying to think about the other two.
She's no Naruto. Specifically, she's no Mecha
Naruto,
which is who we have at our number 2 spot. Yeah, unfortunately, even when talking about filler characters, Naruto tends to take the top spots. Mecha Naruto is introduced in episode 376 of Naruto Shippuden, an experiment made by Orochimaru to try and emulate the power of Naruto, and therefore eventually House Kurama becoming one of the most powerful tools in Orochimaru's arsenal. Mecha Naruto, when it was brought to life, actually just ended up attacking Orochimaru and Kabuto, and it was so powerful that the combined forces of Orochimaru and Kabuto had to retreat. Now, eventually, Mecha Naruto ended up in the possession of the Akatsuki, and Nagato took this already ridiculously powerful abomination and altered it, placing chakra rods all across its body. And thus Nagato sent Itachi alongside Mecha Naruto to Konoha to abduct Naruto and extract the 10 tails from him and put it into Mecha Naruto. However, Itachi programmed Mecha Naruto to stop attacking Naruto if Naruto expressed that he wanted to save Sasuke. Yeah, it's not a good arc, but it doesn't mean that it didn't introduce a ridiculously overpowered character in Mecha Naruto. See, Mecha Naruto was able to take on the majority of the Konoha 11, taking on both Neji and Rock Lee simultaneously in Taijutsu and coming out victorious. And while I know that's something we've said a lot during this list, that's only because Neji and Rock Lee get disrespected pretty much every opportunity the filler gets. Mecha Naruto was so much more than just hands. It could launch its fists and use them as grappling hooks, fire lasers from its eyes, fire a flurry of missiles from its body like it was the Asura path, transform into a plane to fly, transform into a vehicle to roll, detach parts of its body to avoid danger. It had advanced scanners that allowed for it to immediately identify its target from long distances. It had mallets and drills and blades. It could fire shuriken. And if it got close enough to Naruto, it was able to absorb Kurama's chakra. And was able to absorb enough of Naruto's chakra that it was able to assume a three-tailed form, with which it was able to use things like tailed beast balls, which it used to destroy Mecha Nine Tails. Like I said, bad arc, but insanely strong character. But since Naruto does, after all, have the inability to not appear at the tops of lists like these, this list wouldn't be complete without our number one entry, Menma, which is... It's just goth Naruto. Now, fun fact about Menma Uzumaki is that while Naruto is the spiral fish cake that you sometimes see in ramen, Menma is just the Japanese word for the bamboo shoots that you get in ramen. Menma appears in the Road to Ninja Naruto movie. That was a tough movie, and Minato in an alternative version of Konoha, the Jinchuriki of Kurama's counterpart in this alternate...
If you haven't seen it, but that's actually a very, very good movie, but it gives you like a completely different look into what an alternate reality would look like for Naruto. It's actually really tough.
Universe, the Black Nine Tails. While Menma was raised in a loving household by both Minato and Kushina, instead of battling against the Akatsuki, he decided to join them. And when Naruto and Menma go head to head, it's revealed that Menma is just stronger in every single way. See, instead of Kurama being placed in Menma with a repressive seal like the 8 trigram seal, Black Nine Tails is just simply sealed inside of Menma without any repression, making Menma's access to the Black Nine Tails chakra way stronger than that of Naruto's. And therefore, since Menma is essentially just the anti-Naruto, he has access to an alternate universe version of basically all of Naruto's techniques, like his spiraling ring, which is basically the Rasengan. However, Menma's great spiraling ring was so powerful it was able to destroy the entirety of Konoha like Pain's almighty push, except afterwards Menma wasn't even slightly fatigued. On top of this, Menma is able to, with his Kurama chakra, able to manifest something known as the 9 masked beasts. Living beasts composed of his Jinchuriki chakra, who are immensely powerful individually and are able to overwhelm Kage level opponents like Tsunade. But Menma gets even stronger when his body is taken over by Tobi, and he gains access to Kamui, making him not only a stronger version of Naruto, but also a version of Naruto that has Kamui. So yes, on account of the fact that he was able to destroy the entirety of Konoha without getting fatigued, and also gets Kamui, I'm gonna have to give Menma the #1 spot on this list. But I'm curious to hear from you guys. Out of all of the filler characters that you can remember, which do you think is the strongest? Let me know in the comments below.
I'm not gonna lie, I completely agree with the list now, remembering some of those last two. I almost forgot about the Naruto like lookalikes, because honestly for the minute there almost every single person like, bro, how does it get stronger this, how does it get stronger this, and it just kept getting stronger and more unrealistic. Like those filler episodes were not playing when it was coming up with fake strong ass characters and different ways to beat them. But the 7 Emily breasts, I think I would still put that and the Genjutsu up one spot and move that one down, just because I don't know, I just wasn't feeling like, I know he had the chakra, a little bit of Naruto, he got the 4 tails, but he wasn't able to control it like Menma was. So without control, I'm kind of bumping that one down. But you guys let me know if you guys agree with that. Everything else I fully agree with. I mean, I agree with the placement. Like I would just argue just like moving them up 1, him down 1, down 2 to kind of fit that spot. But everything else I fully agree with. I honestly, because the combo we kind of saved it. I was gonna say maybe he might even be, Menma might be weaker than the Mecha Naruto, but not with combo too. So let me know what you guys think about it though down below. Or is there any other filler characters he didn't mention that you remember being incredibly strong? Who is your favorite filler character? And we'll definitely go ahead and talk about that down below. I think my favorite one, or at least the funniest one to me, was like the alternate universe Sasuke was hilarious, bro, because they turned him into basically a player or a lover boy, bro. It was so funny, bro. Either that or Hinata being hysterically just like bad and bougie. Like that's the best way to describe it, bro. She was just like overly confident now, all of a sudden extra mean and extra protective of Naruto. It was hilarious. But let me know what you guys what's your favorite filler character or who you guys would rock with, and I'll catch you guys in the next anime video, man. More anime reviews coming soon. Got a lot more still to go and cover through, so I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm going for the day. Peace.